Oh my gosh. Hey guys. Another impromptu live chat here. You know me, I just kind of hop on when I hop on. I put the twins to bed, and I'm sitting here with a lot of work actually to be doing when I get off of here. I'm not going to be on here that long, but you know. Hey, Chris Cannon. Aw. The rest of you guys can drop in and say hello. I see you watching. MRA says, hello, sweetie. How are you? Glad you came on. I'm well. I've been like a little banged up. You know, I was a college athlete, and maybe I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I started doing like this weight training, and I kind of overdid it, I think. Good evening, A.E. Barry, child of God. Hello. So you guys see the title of the video, which is basically changing the playing field with the narcissist. You know, because we know what kind of playing field they like. Illy Silva says, hey, I'm so happy that you make these videos. You have no idea how much this helps. Yeah. Antoinette Davenport says, hello, sis, looking well. Thank you. I have a clean face, you know. I didn't even powder up. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let whatever glow I have coming on here, let that come through. Who's bringing Mia down? Nathan, I'm going live. I'm telling you guys. And he's not even supposed to be upstairs. Anybody here want an 8-year-old rambunctious, curious George type of little boy? I thought I sent him to bed. Yeah, constant abuse. So let's talk about changing these playing fields, guys, and what can you do? And that's basically talking about getting the power, taking your power back from this situation. That's going to basically involve becoming a better you. A.E. Barry says 2 10-year-olds want to trade. No. I have 2 10-year-olds in about a decade when the twins turn 10, so I'll be paying my dues soon enough with that. I don't think the two of them will equal one to Nathan, though. He's a handful. He is a handful. Hold on, guys. Just kidding. All right, so becoming a better you, guys, is definitely going to help you begin to change that playing field with the narcissist. And that's basically finding yourself. As we begin to find ourselves, we will be losing these toxic people. We'll be losing them because when we find ourselves, we're basically finding our self-respect, we're finding our self-esteem, we're finding our voice. As we begin to find those things, and you know, it's going to basically make those type of people run off. You're not going to be, you know, the type of person they would want to target in a long term anyway. So, you know, that's definitely going to be a part of it. Standing up to them, of course. That's going to be a part of changing the playing field. I mean, they want things their way or the highway. You can decide it's going to be my way or the highway. That doesn't make you a narcissist. It just means this is what's going to be acceptable in my circle, in my life, in any relationship I'm involved in. You can do these things. You can put your foot down just like they can, actually. A.E. Barry says, does sound like the smoke detector, but I believe it may be a shoe on the floor. It's a shoe on the floor and it's the smoke detectors. I've been to the store about 20 times and I need to replace the 9-volt batteries like once a year. And you know, when I have a list of a million things, I always forget that one thing. And all week I've been forgetting it, but it's on my to-do list for tomorrow. It's on my to-do list for tomorrow. Hey Susan, it's good to see you too. I'm telling you, I gotta remember everything. I might have to literally set an alarm for myself, Barry. Because it's like all of them must be getting changed at the same time because they're all doing it. And there's so many of them and they're so sensitive. There's like 3 down here. Hey there, fabulous creations. I said creatures almost. My bad. It is the end of the night, guys. But another part of changing the playing field is believing your narrative as well, guys. I wanted to point that out. Believing your narrative, meaning getting over the gaslighting that has occurred in a relationship that's making you second guess what actually happened. So it's trusting your story, right? And what actually happened, because you know they're not going to, what is the word for it? They're not going to validate you. And I've made at least 3 videos addressing the validation. But that has to come from yourself, especially when you're dealing with people like this. They're just not going to. Validating it is like saying, yeah, I'm the bad guy. I did you wrong. I owe you something. That's just not how they're built, guys. So when you look at it that way, you can understand why they just can't validate you. MRA says, same here with the smoke detector change of clocks. Yeah, they're all like together with it, you know. And I've made a couple of audios and I've heard this like chirp what people have and they've made the comments. My bad. I'm working on it. Hopefully tomorrow it'll be resolved. But do you guys have any questions for me? Like I always say when I go live, it's a good time to ask me questions. Especially for those of you who aren't getting coaching with me, you know, it's a good time to ask away. But, you know, you could certainly change the playing field because a lot of times people, they do take that submissive victim stance in the situation, like they're just at the narcissist's mercy, and you're not. You're actually not at their mercy. And, you know, we put them on the throne. I've made videos about that, not putting the narcissist on the throne. They're not, you know, the big bad monster. I really want to debunk that. They're not the big bad monster. We just got to, once you educate yourself on these people, you know, you'll know just how to deal with them. But, you can certainly change any playing field that you're involved in any relationship. And I just want you to know that in this video. And that's just deciding to stand up for yourself. You know, and like I said, and finding yourself and finding the positive attributes that you need to be able to stand up for yourself. You know, because if you're lacking in your self-esteem, if you're lacking... Are you streaming for the first time? No, I have a playlist, Fabulous Creations, that has all of my live streams. This may be number 5 or 6 for me. Yeah, but it's in a playlist if you want to check out the other ones. You know. But the key word in changing a playing field is the word change, guys. So, you know, we got to keep that in mind. So if you keep the same tactics, if you keep the same frame of mind, if you keep the same toxic behaviors, you're certainly not going to be changing any playing fields. You won't be able to change anything in your life doing the same thing, you know. So that kind of goes without saying, but, and it seems so logical, but a lot of times people aren't changing. They aren't making the necessary changes. And They're wondering why they're stuck in this perpetual, situation where things is recycling and repeating itself. So you have to change. You don't have to necessarily, we're not changing the narcissist, and I've said that in a lot of videos. I mean, you could change their emotion and piss them off, but you're not changing the essence of the narcissist. So with that being said, the best thing you can always do is change yourself in any given situation. All right. It's good to see you too, Susan Wonder. Eli Silva says, co-parenting has been a nightmare for me with my narc ex-husband. Boundaries and standing up for myself has helped. Yeah. And I'm quite sure you're learning how to keep control of your emotions, not taking the bait that he will be throwing out there to trigger you to be, turn toxic with him, or to get you side or off track when it's in regards to your children. They don't change. You have to change yourself. And that's what I think, the narcissists, they present that opportunity for all survivors to be able to make that change, to see some things in areas within ourselves that need to be dealt with. And Eli Silva, I have made some videos about co-parenting with a narcissist that you might want to check out as well. And for all of you, I have over 300 videos on this channel, and I put them in a playlist. So definitely go into them and take what you can. All right. Susan Wonder says, I work around my ex. How should I avoid problems at work? Don't get personal, and don't talk to, just as need if you have to. As need if you have to. Avoid problems by not getting personal, basically. Don't get back with this person outside of work. Don't mix business with pleasure. Don't forget why they're your ex, Susan. So MRA, thank you for your donation, says, what hurts most is the name calling. Crazy too much. That is where I have such a hard time of being a fool and being played and set up the whole time. What hurts the most is the name calling. MRA, have you watched over the last couple weeks? I've been putting up videos about verbal abuse. I put up at least 2 videos about that, and I highly recommend that you check those out. But, just to point out some of the main points from those videos is you have to consider the source. When someone's talking about you and trying to put you down, you have to consider the source, and you have to consider their agenda, their motive, their intentions, and this is going to give you that fuller picture. So if someone is mad at you because you got away from them, because they can't use you anymore, because they can't abuse you, or they're going to try to hurt you from whatever angle that they can at that point. You have to understand it. So yeah, that if that narcissist who are running off their emotions, if they're mad at you and all they can use is their words, and they feel like it doesn't cost them anything to do it. So they're going to try to throw those darts at you. And then when you emotionally respond back to that narcissist, it verifies to them, oh yeah, this gets under this person's skin. This is how I can attack this person. Even though we're not together now, all I have to do is verbally abuse this person from a distance, and now I got them. So you have to understand that, and also understand how narcissists project their faults on other people. They're calling you crazy. They're projecting their own craziness. How many of you have been accused of doing the things that the narcissist is doing? You know, this is an unstable person. So when you consider the source, hopefully that can minimize the impact of what that person has to say. And what's happening, MRA, is that you probably have not let go of the emotional aspect or your emotional attachment to that person, and that's how they're able to continue to affect you in that way, okay? Child of God says, I was such great supply to my covert narc husband. His sister start calling you my little helper. No more. I love her videos. I was such great supply to my covert narc husband. His sister started calling me my little helper. No more. Well, being a great supply to the narcissist is basically like being their slave. So it's okay to not be a good supply anymore. You don't want that. Oh, okay. Love my videos. Thank you. Fabulous Creation says, if you're trying to talk to someone you love, do you think it's good to be yourself or trying to be cool? I mean, if you're talking to someone that you love, Fabulous Creations, you should be able to be yourself. You know, hopefully this is reciprocated. You know, be yourself. That's always good enough for the right people. All right, it's always good enough for the right people. But do you guys have any questions about changing the playing field with the narcissist? And basically how that's going to require a change in you, okay? A change in you, because if you're sitting around waiting for them to change, they're not going to change at their core. Their core is not changing. But yes, you're going to have to change yourself to be able to change that playing field and step up and stand up and be that voice for yourself, okay? And as you, like I was saying, start finding yourself, basically finding your self-esteem, finding your voice, finding the courage, you can change that playing field, because now you're going to set the pace. You're going to set the standards. You're going to set the boundaries. You're going to, for yourself. It's not even about pushing something on somebody else. It's not about that. It's not about pushing anything on anyone. It's just about standing up for yourself. MRA. How do you start? How do you start to emotionally detach? That's changing your perception. Hopefully you've gone no contact, MRA, because, you know, no contact helps with breaking the cycle of abuse, those patterns. So no contact is going to start. You're going to start with no contact, and then it's a reprogramming of your mind. And also you want to start with watching those videos, sweetie. Go on my playlist. I might have to make a playlist for verbal abuse if I haven't already, just to make it easier for you to find. But if you go under my videos and they're listed in order, you're going to see it. But I'll make a playlist after the live chat for verbal abuse, and that'll make it real easy for you to find it. Even with no contact. Right, even with no contact. So, all right, so MRA, are you saying that you're just still hurting from the verbal abuse that already took place and not necessarily something that's current? Because I do address that in my videos as well, those echoing thoughts that come into our mind that are negative. And what I said in my video basically is thoughts are just thoughts, even if they're your own negative thoughts that come through your mind, or if it's a negative echo of thoughts that you're hearing from the narcissist and the negative things that they were saying to you, like calling you crazy. again, a thought only has the power that you give it. So a part of me wants to feel like MRA that you're getting so wrapped up in this, because do you feel like there's some validity to it? You know, because a lot of times they crush our image, our self-image. Is there a part of you that feels crazy, or that feels like there's some truth to it and that's why it's bothering you? Or is it that it was just disrespectful and it's hurting you? Or it could be both. Fabulous Creation says, because many people say that you have to be cool for being successful in love and friendship. Well, if you mean smothering someone, being a quote unquote what they would call a bugaboo, or moving too fast, or that's different. Invading, someone's personal space, like doing too much early on, like trying to go lightning speed in a relationship. This is what the narcissist does, by the way. But if you're talking about that, yeah, it's good to take a steady pace with things. But a lot of long-term relationships actually do take off. I'm not even going to lie to you guys about that. Sometimes you meet someone and it clicks and it falls into place. That does happen, Everything, it doesn't have to be like this paint on the wall. But I think, two people will determine, the two people have to be in sync with that. Now, if you're the one doing all of that and the other person is like way back there somewhere, their feelings and emotions aren't matching yours, then yeah, somebody's going too fast, or, is not equally yoked. But a lot of times when both people are taken off in that way, things just fall into place. It happens in non-narcissistic relationships, not just with narcissists. I don't think I've drunk enough water today, that's for sure. Marilyn Monroe, I love her, says, hi, love your video. I've been healing over 2 years. Does it get better anytime soon? I have nightmares about the narc. It does if you proactively do the therapy, Marilyn. But you are watching, when you said love my video, singular, so I don't know how much you're working on your shadow work and going through the healing process, Marilyn. But, it does take time. It took me a good 18 months myself. So I really think, everybody has their own, has their pace, their own pace. But if you're doing the things that are actually nurturing you, then yes, you will find that healing. If you're doing counterproductive things, like just simply only focusing on the negative, wallowing in things, spiraling in a depression, not doing therapy, even YouTube therapy, like just, you have to be proactive in the healing process. It's not just something that falls on your lap. Because if you just sit there, you're basically going to be sitting in it. So it depends on how much of that 2 years, how much work you've actually been doing, okay? So MRA says, yes, no contact. And she says, yes, reminders, echoes, the pain is awesome. Or probably awful is what you mean. Thank you. When you have never had anything happen to you like this, yeah. Yeah, it sucks. I don't know who made up that saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Like, really? Words can be devastating. And, in toxic, abusive situations, when people are saying it over and over and over, is getting implanted in your mind. So if you were with that narcissist for over a decade and they've spent 10 years telling you weren't nothing and calling you crazy, yeah, it's going to take time to heal past that. It does. But once you start educating yourself, hopefully you can step outside of the emotional and step into your logic. That's what you have to do, MRA. Begin to step out of your emotions and step into your logic. That's what a lot of survivors have to do, because we're all emotionally attached to this person. This is how they're setting it up from the gate. So, you know, when the dust settles, we have to detangle the emotional aspects of things so that it's not overclouding or basically overshadowing our logic. And I've made videos about logic versus emotions. I mean, emotions aren't a bad thing, but in a situation with the narcissist, we have to understand the logical part of things, because we're dealing with someone that has a disorder here. You know, we need to logically understand that. Had a sneezy wheezy. Carol, it does suck, MRA. Carol Davis says, caught him in a lie last week. Saw him out at the same time he said he was still at work. Later, he was with his ex. Confronted him. He said it was not him. Yeah, he's shaggy, right? Gaslighted. Now says I used him. And you're the hurt one? Carol, he did a switch and bait on you. He did a switch and bait. So yeah, you're seeing part of it, but you're not seeing all of it. So he gaslighted you and pulled a shaggy on you. And it's probably not the first time he did it. So you're used to now tapping into your cognitive dissonance. And now he's going to say the complete opposite. And he's going to project on you. You're using me. He's using you. That's why he's trying to see people on the side in between using you. So he just projected on you, Carol. And you know you didn't use him, and that's why it's hurting you. But you're not also seeing that he's doing a couple things there. Number one, he's changing the topic. So now he's hoping that you're going to prove that you weren't using him. And now suddenly he's getting more supply when he just got caught cheating. Carol, don't get caught up. He is setting a trap for you right now. He's going to hope that you're going to go into proving mode to prove that you're not using him. That's going to require you to give him more supply when he should be, forget the doghouse, he should be dumped, okay? So just be careful, Carol. Just as someone that has seen these situations and heard about this stuff and know how they think, he's trying to shift the focus right now off of him being caught, okay? Fabulous Creation says, I really like your stream and the topic. Oh, thank you. We have to change the playing field with them, like point blank. I mean, if we don't, they're going to stay they're going to be the ones in charge, and they don't need any authority. They don't need any authority, because you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. The power, it goes to their head, and they'll always find a way to mess that up. Trust me on that. Empress Tabitha says, I told my narc I was pregnant, even though I'm not sure yet, and he hasn't called me all day. He is married, so what do you think he is thinking? He is thinking, holy cows, that I'm pretty sure he does not want you to be pregnant. If you're unfortunately the mistress role or the side woman, he's hoping that you're not pregnant, and chances are he'll become emotionally distant and cold to you, because narcissists, they like to treat you worse when you're pregnant anyway. But he's going to pull away from you and hope that you will probably get an abortion if you are pregnant, or make the situation go away. Because a narcissist thinks out of sight, out of mind. They run away from situations. So they're going to think if they run over there that, it doesn't exist anymore. You be 9 months pregnant on a table about to pop out. But, they'll go, he's definitely not wanting you to be pregnant. And there's the lack of empathy right there. So Tabitha, I hope that this situation is giving you a glimpse of what could happen if you were actually pregnant and how the narcissist would not be there for you. And I've made videos to address that as well. And I've experienced this firsthand myself. So you don't want to give birth alone. You don't want to not have a husband of your own there to support you, and and then your child doesn't get the kind of father that it could have. And then if you do have to co-parent and it's all messy, and then the wife that he does have could be having issues against your child because it's like the scapegoat and look, you don't want all of it's so many layers of problems that can come out of that, Tabitha. So hopefully you're not pregnant, but as you can see, he's going to skip town. The wrong witch says, EA, yes, the cycling thoughts are torture, especially for what was a mirage. But you know what I tell people in coaching about these thoughts? When you hear them, replace them with a positive thought. Seriously, rebuke it right away. You're a piece of shit. No, I'm beautiful. I'm intelligent. Rebuke it right away and replace it with something positive right away. Don't just let it keep running through your mind over and over. No, you're going to intercept it. Intercept it and say something positive. And just, if you're having a day when it's just really like doing that to you, have a positive playlist that you can listen to, or, just immerse yourself in positivity. Don't just sit in the dark or let that run through your mind like that. Do things to help intercept that. Start praying. Start, like I said, positivity, positive music. Go somewhere beautiful. Do something nice for yourself. Like, intercept the negativity and immerse yourself in positivity when that's going on. Carol Davis says, maybe second guess yourself. Right. That's what the gaslighting does. But you literally seen it with your own eyes, Carol. Don't fall for it. Do not fall for it. You've gone silent. Okay. Well, that's a start. That's a start. You want to go no contact. That's what you really want to go. Maria Papa says, do narcissists ever change, even for their new supply? My ex-narc calls me dummy, crazy, disrespects me. We have a daughter together. He has always blamed me for things that have gone wrong in his life. Well, yeah, they don't take accountability. They need someone else to blame. But do they ever change? Not at the core. They don't change at the core, but they can change on the surface. That's why you might see your narcissist change their hair, or they might change their looks. Like, they're chameleons in that way. Now they're mirroring the new person. So all that person's favorite hobbies and things that they like, now the narcissist is getting down with that. So they change in that way, but they're not changing in their core. They're not changing in the cycle of abuse. It just depends on person to person how long the cycle of the love bomb and the devalue and the discard, if there will be another cycle. That's going to vary person to person, but it's still going to be a cycle. So they're just changing in a shallow aspect, but they're still the same deep down inside, okay? MRA says, can we supply them with an island, all of their own, just for all of the narcs? Well, that's being kind. They get to stay on an island while we're here in civilization. Well, we have to be able to stop them from procreating as well. So maybe another planet, the island is still too close. Fabulous Creation says, I'm sorry, but I need to go offline. Thank you for the for the stream. I subscribe to you. Oh, thank you. And speaking of the subscribers, I'm really happy with how the channel is growing. Like over the last month, we've had almost 1,000 subscribers to the channel. So, you know, it really makes me happy, and it lets me know that you guys are interested in more videos. And Maria says, LOL, too funny. So true. That sounds good too. Yeah. Have a good night. I know it's late. I was just down here about to take care of some business, and I know you guys are used to me like flooding you with like massive amount of videos. So I'm like, you know, just trying to do a peekaboo at least. Maria Papa says, thank you. You are right about changing the outside. He definitely changes his looks. Yeah. So when you see him do that, that is a clue to know that that's for that next supply. Hey, Tracy. Haven't seen you in a while. How you been? And you're welcome, Maria. Yeah. Good. I'm kind of wrapping things up. Dawn Marie says, thank you so much. You have been such a blessing to me. You opened my eyes and have given me hope. Yeah. Yeah, all is not lost. I know a lot of times when it finally ends, you guys have a lot of rebuilding to do, but all is not lost. And as far as the material things, and I keep saying this, but I am on the verge of doing a video to talk about the financial aspects, because, you know, and it kind of